Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, February 3rd, 2014, and the roll will show that all members of council are present. Tonight's council agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6A clerk's report, 6B treasurer's report, 7 public comment, 8 unfinished business, 9 new business, 10 communication, 11 adjournment, and a motion be in order to accept the agenda as presented.
So move to accept the agenda as presented.
The motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to accept the agenda as presented. Roll call. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Malkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda approved.
2A, request approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held on January 27th, 2014.
So moved to accept the minutes from the regular meeting held January 27th, 2014.
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting held January 27th, 2014. Any discussion? Roll call. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Abstain.
Ms. Malkowski?
Abstain.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Minutes are approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda tonight. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Clerk, today we had a study session on the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. And at this time, I'd like to, I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, Mr. Rick, is it Jarreau?
Jaros.
Okay, you may come up, please.
Really want to thank Mayor Burkroff and City Council for this opportunity to ask you for a resolution to declare March 4th, 2014 as Constitution Celebration Day. And with your permission, I have a very short presentation. I think that's worth repeating. You've heard it before, but for those that have not heard it, I think it's informational, if I have your permission.
Yes.
Unless you're, is that okay
Sure.
with you? All right. Why we want to have resolutions and proclaim and celebrate this day? Because it is the 225th anniversary of the first day that the United States Congress convened under the laws of our United States Constitution in 1789. March 4th was also the day that the President of the United States was inaugurated into office from 1789 until 1936. On September 17th, 1787, after almost 4 months of rigorous debate and strenuous compromise, the Constitutional Convention adjourned and released to the public the Constitution it had written in secrecy. At that point, the Constitution was nothing more but a proposal. In fact, the men who crafted this proposal were acting without authority, since the delegates had been appointed officially to only propose changes to the Articles of Confederation, not to design a new government. They were all aware of the uncertainty that the required number of states would accept and ratify their work. The convention specified how the Constitution should be ratified, and not by the Confederation Congress, nor by the state legislatures, but by special ratifying conventions elected by we the people in each of the states. Now, as stated in Article 7 of the Constitution, the ratification of this Constitution by 9 states will put into full force and effect With this provision, the founders took a chance on the possibility that one or more of the states might repudiate its earlier covenant of perpetual union and remain outside the Union. On June 21st, 1788, some 9 months after the Constitution was released to the public, New Hampshire, by a vote of 57 to 46, was the 9th state to ratify. However, no formal action was taken to immediately implement the Constitution because the conventions in New York and Virginia were on the verge of reaching a conclusion, and the other states wanted to make sure that these two important and large states would ratify. Virginia would ratify on June 26th by a vote of 87 to 79, and New York, which had one of the most bitter battles of all, ratified on July 26, 1788, by a narrow margin of only 30 to 27. North Carolina did not ratify until November 21st, 1789, some 8 months after March 4th, by a vote of 197 to 7. Then Rhode Island, who had not sent any delegates to the convention, was almost dragged into the Union and finally ratified on May 29, 1790, after the Constitution had been functioning for 2 years by a very close vote of 34 to 32. And just to emphasize how important it was to get the Constitution ratified and what a struggle that it was. Our Downriver Republican Grassroots Organization is having its 20th annual March 4th celebration event. It will take place on Tuesday, March 4th, 2014, at the relocated Epicurean House in Wyandotte. We again explore the original intent of the Constitution. U of D Mercy Economics Professor Harry Verizor will be our keynote speaker. So I want to thank you very, very much for continuously through these 20 years participating with us in this announcement. And
Pardon?
Yes, Mr.
I'm
Walker.
going to make a resolution that we do, Constitution Day in Romulus, but this man amazes me. He comes every year. It's like listening to the voice of the History Channel on television. It really is, because I watch History Channel quite a lot. And I compliment you on, you believe in something and you do it constantly. And I know there's been a few times in January that the weather wasn't that great and you still were here, and I do compliment you on it.
Support.
Let's get a motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Crop, to make March the 4th the resolution. Roll call. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Crop?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
thank you
Thank
very,
you.
very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Okay, with that concludes the chairman's report. That motion for chairman's report.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to accept the chairperson's report. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Crowd?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Council, Clerk, and Treasurer, and audience. I want to talk a little bit about public safety, and actually brought a quote that pertains to that. Many times you've witnessed when they've interviewed police and firefighters after they've saved someone in a building or caught a criminal, and you'll hear this quote, and it goes as this: "What you call a hero, I just call doing my job." And you hear that over and over by a lot of people in public safety. And it's that mentality of doing things, stepping above and beyond, without any expectation of recognition, or because they're wearing that badge because they do the right thing. And tonight, what I wanted to do is we've made some changes in public safety, and I would like to have our Director of Public Safety, John Leacher, come up and actually introduce some of the faces and the names of some of the changes, and talk about kind of what we're trying to do. It all goes back down to customer service and make sure we're providing the best public safety as far as customer service goes in this region, and making sure we're doing it with integrity. So with that, John Leacher.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening. Good evening, Council,
Good evening, John.
Madam Clerk, Madam Treasurer. I'm really excited to be up here because, as the mayor said, this is we're moving forward, and we're moving forward on all fronts in public safety, and I think we're getting things in place, and it's just a really exciting time. You know, you often get caught and told when you're doing things wrong, and those are good things. You need to know when to make those corrections. But so many times we don't get our positive message out there to our community and let them know when we're doing things well, and when things are going well, and we have good fortune come our way. So I'm going to bring some people up here and introduce them to you. Some reintroducing to you that you've known for forever, and one in particular that you've never met before. Some of you've never met before. The first gentleman I'd like to bring up here is our newest addition to the police department, and his name is Seth Bond. Seth, I'm going to have you come up here. Excuse me. Seth comes to us from Roswell, New Mexico. He has several years of experience down there. Was a very accomplished police officer down there. Originally hails from Michigan. He was a member of the SWAT team down there. Outstanding reviews from his command officers and fellow officers. Somebody that's always dependable. You can count on him. Never disrespected or demeaned anyone. These are comments coming from his command officers. So lots and lots of high praise from him down in Roswell. So it was a no-brainer for us to pick up on those qualities and those traits of integrity, professionalism. You know, he's very family-oriented, very strong family values. The reason he came back to Michigan was because of family, and in so doing, had no choice but to leave the law enforcement profession in search of a job. But while doing that, he gained other employment, and even in that other employment, he was very, very, very dedicated to giving 100%. And again, you know, those are things that we look at and measure. You know, do you just care about what you care about, or do you have intrinsic values that make you care about doing 100% because you believe that's what you owe? That's what you owe your employer. That's what you owe the people that you're responsible for. And again, those traits came out and shown very, very strongly in Seth. The only thing that made us question our hire of Seth was the fact that it's been sub-zero below wind chill factors and temperatures here, and the weather forecast in Roswell tomorrow is for a high of 50, and it'll be 67 by next Monday. So we're not exactly sure what made him want to come up here, especially this winter. But we're very happy to have him, and he is our newest addition to the police department. Seth, thanks for coming out.
Welcome, Seth.
Okay, in our fire department, we made some changes. We made some promotions, and the promotions that we made in the fire department have given us some opportunity to add some structure that's been needed. Also allow us to be able to focus on the things that we need to focus on. The department's split into pretty much two areas. One is fire suppression, and one is fire prevention. And with the inspections and the prevention piece, allowing us to make some of the promotions that we made has enabled us to be able to focus real strong in each of those particular areas, and focus on our training and making sure that we're bringing our people up to speed, and that the expectations are clear, and that everybody's on the same page. And I'm really excited about the individuals that we've been able to promote. One is out on a run right now, so if he gets back, we'll make sure we introduce him as well. But I'll start by bringing Matt Wilhide up here. Matt was promoted last week to the rank of fire lieutenant. I know at 12 years old, it's hard to believe that Matt's accomplished so much in his young life, but we teased him about that at the promotional ceremony on Friday. How Matt, I think Matt's probably going to look like he's 15 till he's 50, but that's okay. And he brings a lot of energy with that. But he's very accomplished. I mean, don't let the looks fool you. He's been around with our department, the fire department, is paid on call from June of 2001. At 19 years old, when he put in his application, he lists on his application that he cites selling candy and stocking bananas as his previous work experience. So Matt was pretty much Matt's endeavor from the get-go. He was going to do whatever it took to get here in the meantime, but firefighting's in his blood, as evidenced by his firefighter, a retired firefighter father, Mark Will Hyde, who also serves as the chairman of our Police Fire Safety Commission. So the Will Hyde blood runs deep in Romulus, and we know that Matt's going to do a great job. As a testament to his very young tenure as a lieutenant, and he probably doesn't expect me to share this, but I'm going to anyway because he shared this with me just before the meeting. And I just think this speaks to how we take care of each other, not just in the public safety department, but specifically in the fire department. Another one of our lieutenants, John Theed, is in the hospital right now, and he's going to be out of commission for a while. We're not sure exactly how long, but in the meantime, Matt had a trip planned, and a trip to Florida, as a matter of fact. And just let me know before this meeting that he realized that, if we're going to make an impact and we're going to start doing the right thing, we need to start doing that from the get-go. And without any provocation, he rearranged his trip, cost him some miles, as a matter of fact, to reschedule this trip, but put it off for 2 more weeks because he wanted to be here to be able to lend that command presence to the fire department from the get-go. So I want you to know how much I appreciate that, Matt. So thank you, and we're very much looking forward to having Matt on board. So thanks, Matt.
John.
Matt, you want Matt back up?
Yeah, well, one thing that we
Matt, come
forgot to say is your grandfather used to be the chief of Romulus Fire Department.
That's
at
true,
one time.
yep.
I worked with him.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth,
And
you're
he'd be quite proud of you right now.
Yeah,
He really would.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Our other promotion to lieutenant, kind of the other end of the spectrum. Here? Standing.
Perfect time.
Perfect. You're like on cue. That's perfect. Just come right up in here and just stand here. Tim Roten, fresh off of a run-up on 275, where we had what do we have up there, Tim? Oh, okay, outstanding, excellent. So it was good resolution to that. Tim was touted as being the senior firefighter in the fire department. He has the most time on the job. He's one of the first original 8 full-time firefighters that we hired in. He's got 22 years though of firefighting experience combined with on-call, paid on-call, and full-time experience with our department. He's embraced the role of lieutenant. He's going to bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the position as well. He has not given up on bettering himself and continuing his education. In 2006, he went back to school and successfully completed and obtained his state of Michigan paramedic license, and that's quite an accomplishment for our firefighters. So we look very forward to having him on board. I won't tease him about his age because he's got 22 years as a senior guy. I got 26 years. So I said, if that makes him old, I don't know what that makes me. But we're happy to have him on board, and we look forward to his leadership as we move forward as well. So thanks, Tim. Our final promotion to the fire department was the promotion of a deputy fire chief. And again, this is the part that gives us that ability to lend some structure to both sides of the fire shop. Kevin Kraus, come on up, Kevin. Kevin was promoted to fire deputy chief on last Friday with the 2 new lieutenants. Kevin as well brings just a wealth of experience with him. Again, very much a self-motivator. He before he was hired, he came to us from community EMS, but before he was even hired, he put himself through Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2 certifications, had his paramedic license when he came on board, Army reservist, scored 14 out of 15 on his interview. Specific comments made were trained and eager with regard to Kevin, and he has maintained that eagerness and that motivation and that energy level. And he's going to need it. We've got a lot planned for him to do, and he's going to be he's a welcome addition. EMS coordinator from 2010 to 2013 for us. He's also represented the firefighters union as the vice president of the union. And again, when you get into this level of management, it's a great tool to have to be able to, because I can speak from experience as a past president of the command officers union, that it's nice to be able to see both sides of the table when you're dealing with everything you have to deal with at this level. So once again, we're very much looking forward to the work we're going to do with Kevin and with the rest of our fire department. Thanks, Kevin. Anybody has any questions?
Any questions, anyone? Good job.
All right, super.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
John.
Mayor.
And as you can see, under John Leacher's direction, Dave Allison, our fire chief, is here. Dave, with the new support and structure we have in place, we're looking forward to doing good things in public safety. So we just wanted you to see what we're doing with people so that you understand and get a chance to meet them firsthand. So thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
A couple things I do have a request for, really some memorial resolutions that unfortunately I'd like to ask council to pass. The first one would be for the family of Herb Bennett.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
And under discussion, just, Mr. Chairman, this is Doris Bennett's husband. He passed this last week. Actually, also Tammy McGrain, who sits in the cemetery board, it's her father. Herb was a nice guy. He was one of these guys that was quiet, but when he had things to say, they were either really meaningful or funny. So he was a great guy, and he's going to be dearly missed, and I just ask that you continue to keep thoughts and prayers for the Bennett family.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for a memorial resolution for Mr. Herb Bennett. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. And one other memorial request that I do have, and this is for the family of Diane DeVita.
So moved,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
for memorial resolution for the family, Diane DeVita.
Support.
Under
motion-
discussion, this is just actually Maria's sister-in-law, Diane, who fought an illness, passed. I do actually have the arrangement. She's going to be viewing on Wednesday from 5 to 8. This is at Michigan Memorial Funeral Home. And then Thursday from noon till 8 p.m. with a rosary at 6:30 and a service Friday morning at 10:30 at St. Stephen's Catholic Church. But she leaves a husband and family, and it's been tough. Maria having close family members in the last few years. Just please keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers also.
Thank you, Mayor. I've been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a memorial resolution for Ms. Diane DeVita. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. For the business things up before us, 5A I have this evening for your consideration is a request to extend bid 11/12-05, and that's to purchase 3 Toughbook laptops for the Romulus Police Department from Advanced Wireless in the amount of $3,565.67, and those funds are confirmed and available in the 911 fund.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to extend bid 11/12-5 for the purchase of 3 Toughbook laptops for the Romulus Police Department from Advanced Wireless in the amount of $3,565.67. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you for that. Next, 5B is a request for an introduction for Budget Amendment 13/14-12, and this is to reallocate funds to reimburse Wayne County for the cost of the recount that was on November the 2013 general election. They conducted that recount on December 2nd and 3rd, and based on that request, we had to pay for the workers that came out and did the recount. So the amount of the budget amendment was $8,503, and that was to cover the cost for Wayne County, reimbursing of their time while they were going through their process here. The recount was requested by a person on the ballot.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I'd
Choate.
like to make the motion that we introduced Budget Amendment 1314-12 to reallocate funds to reimburse Wayne County for the cost of the recount of the November 2013 general election conducted December 2nd and 3rd of 2013.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to introduce Budget Amendment 13/14-12 to reallocate funds to reimburse Wayne County for their cost for the recount of the November 2013 general election conducted on December 2nd and 3rd, 2013. Any discussions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
we'd like Ms. Bragg to explain the cost and why the cost is what it is.
Sure.
Please, thank you.
Under MCL 168.863, Michigan election law requires that the costs and expenses for conducting a recount, that it goes back to the municipality. And the petitioner would only pay $10 per precinct. So the petitioner only bears a small percentage, and so for the recounts, it's, the local units are responsible for paying for all the expenses for a recount. For this recount, these expenses involve personnel. Just for the personnel alone was $7,600. We had to pay for the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, that was $300. And then for the court reporting, that was $600. The one thing I want to say that, it was a blessing that we did downsize our precincts when we did. Even if, let's say, if we still had our 18 plus the AV counting board, it would have cost us a total of $11,000 if we had, if we had not have downsized. So downsizing has been a blessing, and it has saved us money. In this case, it saved us $3,200 by having downsized and consolidated our precincts. There's no way to budget for this. You don't know. And unfortunately, the way the law is written, a lot of the expenses are on the backs of the taxpayers in this case. So that's why it's necessary to do a budget amendment. And again, we are, obligated because of Michigan election law requires this.
Thank you, Ms. Clerk. Any other questions? Roll call. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair vote yes, motion approved.
The last item is just a point of information, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
6A1, this is under the clerk's report. 6A1 is for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1314-9, the Retiree Health Care Fund. This was introduced at the council meeting of January 27, 2014, and this is in the amount of $84,500.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-9 Retirees Health Care
Support.
Fund. And I have a question for Debbie's gone, though. I don't have a question.
No question. Okay. It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-9 Retirees Health Care Fund. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair vote yes, motion approved.
6A2 for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1314-10, General Fund. This is in the amount of $232,495. This was introduced at the council meeting on January 27th, 2014.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make that motion for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-10 for General Fund.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, for second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-10 for the General Fund. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A3 for second reading and final adoption is Budget Amendment 1314-11, General Fund, in the amount of $1,651. Was introduced at the council meeting of January 27th, 2014.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I'd like to recommend that we adopt Budget Amendment 13/14-11, General Fund, in the amount of $1,651 as submitted for second reading and final adoption.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Choate, for the second reading and final adoption of Budget Amendment 13/14-11, General Fund, for the amount of $1,651. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Abstain.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Abstain, I'm on this commission.
Thank you. Chair votes yes, motion approved.
I should also say that my son's on the commission, and he'll receive a small stipend for being there, so that's why I abstained.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wadsworth.
6A4, this is a study session request. Public Safety Director John Leacher is requesting a 30-minute study session to discuss policies and procedures and an ethics ordinance. He's requesting February 10th, 2014 at 5:30 p.m.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for a study session requested by Public Safety Director John Leacher for Monday, February 10th at 5:30.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for a study session request from Public Safety Director John Leacher for Monday, February 10th, 2014 at 5:30. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we will have a study session.
6A5, I, your city clerk, I'm requesting a half-hour study session, also on February 10th, 2014, at 6 o'clock p.m. This is to discuss an ordinance amendment, ordinance Chapter 17. This is the business license registrations, also, and certificate of occupancy. I'm requesting for February 10th at 6 o'clock p.m.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I would like to make a motion that we schedule a study session for the clerk for February 10th at 6 p.m. to discuss an ordinance.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, for a study session request from Ellen Braggs, our city clerk, for Monday, February 10th, 2014 at 6 p.m. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, another study session we will have.
6A6, we have another study session request. This is coming from Mayor Burcroft, and he's requesting a half-an-hour study session also for February 10th, 2014, and this will be for 5 o'clock, and this is to discuss the Romulus vision process.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for a study session requested by Mayor Burcroft for February 10th at 5 p.m.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, for study session request from Mayor Leroy Burcroft for Monday, February 10th, 2014 at 5 p.m. to discuss the Romulus vision process. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we will have a study session.
For your information, I've provided a public notice from DTE Gas Company. This is regarding a hearing scheduled for February 13th, 2014 at 9 o'clock. This will be held in Lansing. This public notice will be available in the clerk's office. And that concludes the clerk's report. 6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, and audience. At this time, I would like to ask council to pass a memorial resolution for the family of Andrew James Carter.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
Under discussion, please.
Yes.
Andrew James Carter was 34 years old, and he lived in Romulus, and he passed away on January 27th. He was the son of David and Patricia Carter. Andrew Carter enjoyed going to the movies and museums, writing, reading, trying new foods, and visiting new places. A couple things about the family. There was a funeral service that took place on Thursday, January 30th. However, I worked with Pat Carter, his mother, at Hale Creek Elementary. She was a lunch mom there. Wonderful lady, wonderful family. It's how I met Andrew, and I met her other son, Matthew, who does sub in the district in Romulus Community Schools currently. It's very sad, but I just ask that everybody keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. A motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, on memorial resolution for Andrew Carter. Roll call. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Melkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, like to please accept my letter, actually our letter, is a request to attend the MMTA Advanced Institute from May 14th through May 16th. This is for the Deputy Treasurer and myself. The Advanced Institute offers continuing education that prepares participants to perform complex treasurer duties and meets the requirements for treasurers seeking to renew the MICPT. The funds are available and budgeted for fiscal year 13-14.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Roscoe?
I'll make a motion to accept the request to attend the MMTA Advanced Institute from May 14th through May 16th.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, for request to attend the MMTA Advanced Institute from May 14th through May 16th. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Also, I would like to remind everyone that city offices are closed. There are a few days that city offices are closed in the month of February. So please mark your calendars. February 12th is Lincoln's birthday. It's a Monday. February 17th is President's Day. It is a Friday. And then February 21st, it is a furlough day. City offices are closed, so please mark your calendar. Keep in mind, February is tax month. The due date without penalty and interest for your tax bill is February 14th. It is a Friday. We are open April the 4th. Don't forget, we have drop boxes in front. Also, you can mail your payment or you can visit us at our office. But the absolute day that the city will take real property taxes is Friday, February 28th. March 1st, the tax payments are sent over to the county. If you have any questions, please give our office a call at 734-942-7580. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Page.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of our meeting. For those of you that are out in the audience, if you would like to address council, please raise your hand. After being acknowledged, approach the podium, state your name and your address, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Chair, we do not have any written requests at this time.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience? A comment? Okay, then we'll close that part out.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9 is new business.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
if I could, and I will ask Roger to put this on cable also, on Saturday, the 22nd of February, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., it's going to be the annual Dog and Cat Shot Day, and you can purchase your licenses there. And of course, it'll be our friend, Dr., as we call him, Dr. John will be there. And at the end of the day, Dr. John always makes a portion of the money taken in. He donates it back to the shelter. And there'll be Sue from Cruisin' Clippers, and Chris from Brits, and Robin from Puff and Fluff will be there. So it's a good deal. It's a lot cheaper than going to a vet other than him, and you'll get to take a look at the brand-new building also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I just wanted to remind people of the Progressive Club fundraiser that is Saturday, February 15th at 7:30. I have tickets for sale, or you can buy a table. Doors will open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7:30. All proceeds will be going to help repair many of the needed repairs the Progressive Club has.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Abdo.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Pickens.
just a reminder that Boys and Girls Club is having a fundraiser on February 8th. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor. It is a bowling fundraiser. It is at Lodge Lanes. I believe it begins at noon.
Registration's at noon, bowling at 1.
Okay, bowling at 1. 2 games, pizza, shoes, door prizes. If you're not doing anything or would like to come out and help Boys and Girls Club, we just ask that you go to Lodge Lanes and have a great day of bowling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I just wanted to remind people that tomorrow Romulus High School plays Belleville in basketball. That is a very big event here in town, and I'd like to invite you all to the high school.
Thank you, Ms. Abdo.
Is there any other new business? Okay, then number 10 is communication.
Nope.
Just want to make mention, if I can, Mr. Chair.
Sure, Ms.
Under
Cook.
communication is
Okay.
that February is Black History Month, and there are some events going on in town, but I just would like to acknowledge and congratulate our Chief of Staff, Robert Dickerson, and also Jasmine Bennett, and they put on a wonderful display. We have a display in honor of Black History Month, and these are some of the African Americans here in Romulus that have made significant contributions here to our city. So please, before you leave, stop by and look at the display case. It's really done nicely. So thank you, Mr. Dickerson, as well as Jasmine Bennett. She's not here tonight. Also, there's a soul food dinner, and I believe it's February the 12th, and this is an annual event, and if anyone knows Reverend Rita Talley, she's been sponsoring this for a number of years, and each year it just seems to get bigger and bigger, but it will be held at Romulus High School in the cafeteria, and I believe it's 6 o'clock. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. So if you like soul food, that's the place to be on February the 12th at 6 o'clock. And I don't know if Councilman Barton is planning on bringing his famous collard greens this year.
Just been put on the spot.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Bragg. You hear that, sweetheart, at home?
What's Ellen bringing?
But again, if you can be there on the 12th, please come out and support. It's a great time.
Thank you,
Is
Ms.
there any more
Bragg.
communication?
Any more? Thank you, Ms. Bragg.
You're welcome. If not, number 11 is adjournment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
The motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair vote yes. We are adjourned, and thank you.